say is this. We do know that the IG has different arms. There are different arms of government. There's a cabinet headed by the AP at the moment, and then there's a restoration council, which is supposed to be independent of the cabinet, and it has its role to play. Good. So we cannot come sit here today and just talk cabinet, AP. My question is, what was the restoration council doing? Where was the restoration council when all of this was happening in the struggle? Where was the restoration council when the AVP got fired? Where was the restoration council when ABC was created? Where was the restoration council when the backlashing and the witch hunting happened? Where was the restoration council at the same time when the AP denounced country coordinators and adopted local, regional representatives that are not in the constitution or the supposed constitution that is signed? And what constitution guides the performance of the AP at the moment? We cannot and we should not sit here and put everything on the AP when we have institutions and organs within the IG that were supposed to ensure that the cabinet did what it was supposed to do, and these institutions failed in every aspect to make sure cabinet functioned the way it was supposed to function. So I want to ask the chairman of the Restoration Council, basically, where were you and your team? Thank you.
What are the mechanisms in place at the moment from a Restoration Council point of view that will check the excesses and the deviant nature of leadership? What mechanisms do we have right now?
Comrade JC asked a question that what did the Restoration Council do, or why did the Restoration Council not do anything to check the excesses of the cabinet? What happened is this. We used to have the governing council, and when the IG was formed, most members of the IG, most members of the governing council were co-opted into the cabinet, into the government. So we were just 4 of us left in the Restoration Council. So for a long time, the Restoration Council was not functioning. Even when our leaders, when our president and other leaders were abducted, the Restoration Council was not yet functioning. That is why when Comrade Sako was voted AP, I was the only person from the Restoration Council. There was no other person who took part in those elections. Yes, after that, we went through the Constitution and adopted the Constitution, and it was signed and put into law. Then, after a few months, some issues came up between the AP, the acting president, and the acting interim vice president. And this was brought to my attention. By then, the Restoration Council were just about 7 of us, or 7 or 8. This was brought to our attention. And by then, we had a constitution. The constitution says the president has the right to hire and fire the vice president. Okay. But Comrade Sako is the acting interim president. In the constitution, there's nothing about acting interim president. Therefore, he was treated like the acting president. And the constitution says the president has the right to hire and fire the VP. I spoke with him, or not me, many people advised him. He said no. But listen, even if there are issues, let him state it politically. This is not good because we have a strong base in South Africa, and this is alienating South Africa if you do this. So we are advising you not to do this. Hey, he insisted, and Well, he dwelt on the fact that in the Constitution, he was replacing the AVP that was, who was appointed by Siseko, who was unknown. Yes, so he said he was replacing the AVP. Yes. So after that, you talked also about SCBC. When SCBC sent a bill about privatization, by then the Restoration Council was functioning. The Restoration Council voted that the privatization should go ahead. But the acting president said no, he cannot sign it because it would appear, because Comrade Chris said they never passed, they were not even aware that they had sent a letter to the Restoration Council asking for this privatization. So the acting president, the interim president, he refused to sign that, and if he doesn't sign it, it cannot be a law because the president, he decided to veto it. The Restoration Council, as I told you, most of those who are there were recruited or proposed by some country heads, and a few of them were, there are some who were chosen by their countries. For instance, all of North America, the US, we have 2 members in the Restoration Council who do not represent the countries, they represent the US. We have 1 from Canada. We have 3 from Europe. And then we are supposed to have 2 from each county. So now, the problem is those from the counties were selected by the country heads that were selected and sent to the Restoration Council. We tried to do some vetting, but it's not like I sit in front of you, we talk, I meet you every day, we talk, and I know you. You know, it's not the same. Please, mistakes have been made. All of us are in the learning process. I have made mistakes, you have made mistakes, we have made mistakes. But we should not sit on one spot and complain every day because something went wrong. I think we're here to try to fix things and to make sure that where we faltered, it should not have happened again. Comrade Red Baba asked, I don't know if he's the one, asked for what measures are there to check the excesses of government. I said the elders we held a meeting for 2 weeks and we came out with some resolutions. These resolutions, one of them was talking about a superstructure where the political side is completely different. You have the financial arm, you have the political side, and then you have the military. Yes, so all of this, if this is implemented, then it is not about Comrade Sako, it's about the post of the president or the acting president. He will only be like a figurehead. So if these resolutions are implemented, then I think all the mistakes most of the mistakes that we had in the past will be corrected. I'd like to appeal to everyone here, and especially those from South Africa. What happened, what transpired was not good for the revolution. It wasn't. So, one thing is certain. If you are in a revolution and you fall along the way and somebody holds your hand and you stand up, if you are somebody of substance, someday you will still come back into that leadership position you had before. So we should not sit on one spot and say, oh, Comrade Sako fired Milton, what did we do, what did you do? We did not do anything because the Constitution said he had the right to hire and fire him. I did not write that Constitution. Yes, I didn't write it.